District Court for County of Washington, State of Michigan, is not accessible beyond the Judge Simpson preside.
You may be seated. Court does call the case of the people versus Nathan Pearson.
Alexander, on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Dan Garrett on behalf of Nathan McPherson, stepping forward.
Your name?
Nathan McPherson.
All right.
Your Honor, today's the date and time set for preliminary examination. At this time, people are unable to proceed.
Motion to dismiss, please.
People being unable to proceed, this case is dismissed. That is without prejudice.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do we have any other matters that are short matters? Because I'm about to start it. Nope. Okay. He's coming out. Where is? Who is? Where's Mr. Burton Harris?
Oh, my God.
Right. Oh, see over there. Probably grow. What I'm saying. All right, court does call the case of the people state of Michigan versus Anthony Blake Hamilton.
Yes, sir.
Is it going?
Robert Agasinski, appearing for the prosecution, Your Honor.
And good morning or good afternoon, Judge, to you and your staff. Robert Burton Harris on behalf of Mr. Anthony Hamilton, who is also present in the courtroom.
All right, date and time set for preliminary examination. Are we ready to proceed?
People are ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Well, I think that depends on who you ask. So me and brother counsel have spoken, and it seems that the complainant, who is the subject of the charging document, and also the main complainant in this case, is not here. And brother counsel believes that he can proceed with the testimony of the wife. We disagree on that because
Wife.
the complainant's wife was also present. But this is our position is that this is an assaultive case, and I don't know how the wife would testify about her husband's level of fear or feelings of being assaulted, because in this case the complainant witness was not assaulted. So I don't know how the wife would actually testify to that, but brother counsel can speak to that, I guess.
Certainly she can testify as to what she saw.
Yes.
That's correct, but I think that if
There's quite frankly, if there's then a dispute as to what his feelings may have been or anything along those lines, and I'm not saying that the court's ruling that, but that may be an issue of fact for the fact finder, which would have the matter proceed. So are we ready to go?
We're still ready to go, Your Honor, with what we got.
All right, you can have a seat. Start calling your witnesses.
Yes, Your Honor, they're out sequestered, I think, at this time. So I think I will call 4 during the exam.
Glad he turned that way.
I was told he was inside.
Side.
Welcome to court, folks. And yes, the drama starts right here, District Court of Michigan, where small details can decide big fates.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. They're here.
You're here?
They're here, yeah.
All right.
The officer in charge has another case. It was in a meeting in a conference room, and he's bringing the complainant or the first witness right now.
Witness. All right. From where? All right, who is your first witness?
Yes, this is the first one. Miss Lynn? Thanks, come right up.
And please come forward and be sworn.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Go have a seat. State and spell your first and last name for the record.
Why you got, you live in Berlin, why you got more if you live in life?
All right.
Is that loud enough for the court?
Pardon?
Was she loud enough for the court?
Yes, she was.
Thank you. Husband on the date of October the 28th of 2024 go together to a Kroger parking lot located at 2641 Plymouth in the city of Ann Arbor, Washington County. Do you remember about what time you actually arrived at the parking lot?
It was dinner, so probably around 6 before 7.
Okay. And was it dark at that time or still daytime?
It was dark.
Okay. Did anybody go with you besides you and your husband? Okay. And were you going to the Kroger or one of the other stores in that mall area? Okay. And did you get out of your car and did you park the car and get out of the car? Okay. And what happened after that?
I drove, so I'm in the driver's seat, so I'm looking at my phone, and then I turned and looked over across the parking lot. A car was coming by as my husband was going to cross over, drive to go to Kroger. But the car came really close to him, where I think I may have seen his hand like, whoa.
Objection, speculation if she said she thinks she saw something.
It goes to weight.
That goes to weight, yeah. Go ahead. Overruled.
And then the car came in, and I think that really like took my husband off guard. So I saw him come around
Around where?
back towards my car, where this car was pulling in.
Okay, your husband was walking away, had some interaction with this car, and then he came back to where you were.
Yes.
Then what happened?
I think he was wanting to say something to the
Objection,
gentleman.
call.
I'll sustain that objection.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to have you testify to what he was thinking. If we ever get to him, he can tell us that. Just what you saw. So what happened as he turned around and came back to you, to your direction?
The car very quickly parked in his face and got out. The gentleman got out.
Okay, the car that had a some kind of interaction with your husband?
Yes, was my husband. And the gentleman got out and said something. I saw them speaking to each other. At that time, my husband pulled out his phone and wanted to document something.
Okay, so you saw your husband pulling out his phone?
Yeah.
Okay,
The gentleman was being very aggressive. His body language was very aggressive towards my husband. At that time, I got out of the car. And then I said to the gentleman, "You almost ran over my husband." The gentleman, because I don't remember exactly what he said. He said something also to God as well as if, okay, you're gonna film me, I'm gonna film you too. Then he took off into Kroger.
took off into Kroger.
Yes.
Okay, and was that close by, Kroger, to where you were?
Oh, no, because we were kind of maybe 20 cars into the park.
Okay. When you had a conversation with this young man, was it at the back of the car that he had parked?
Yes,
Do you remember what kind of car that was?
it was a light colored like a four-door,
Okay.
I don't know what it was.
I mean, you say young man, how old or young are we talking about?
I want to say 30 to 40,
Okay. Do you remember what he was wearing?
something dark.
Okay. So you and he and your husband all had an interaction, and then the man went into Kroger.
Ran into Kroger.
What happened then?
And my husband said, he almost ran over me. And at that time, he spat on his face because then I had to get out a Clorox wipe for him to, because it was in his glass and it was like all over his face. So I wanted him to wipe it all off.
So who spat on whose face?
The gentleman did.
Gentleman did what?
That almost ran over my husband.
Spat on your husband's face. Okay. At what point did he do that?
When he was exchanging words with him and when I saw that some interaction was happening, I got out of the car. So that had already happened.
Okay, so you saw your spittle on your husband's face and you gave him a Clorox to wipe it off.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
Then at some point, my husband said, he almost ran me over. And I said, I know, I saw that. And I was helping him, wiping everything off. And to me, I had the phone, I should have been videoing everything, but I didn't. Then a gentleman came out of Kroger as we were, and then my husband said, I'm gonna call the police. So he decided to call the police at that time.
Okay, they said the gentleman came out of Kroger. Was that the same gentleman that went into Kroger? And when your husband said he was gonna call the police, or was that before or after the gentleman appeared coming out of Kroger?
I think the gentleman came out and exchanged more words with my husband, and then he said, I'm gonna call the police right now. I'm calling the police.
Okay,
Then the gentleman said, go ahead, you call the police.
okay.
And then he got into his car, slammed the door, decided to back out.
Who did that?
The gentleman got over.
Okay. Now, where were you and your husband at the time that he got back into his car and began to back out?
We were on the driver's side of his car because there was not a car parked on the driver's side of his car. And then my husband said, no, you can't. Yes, dumb. He was dumb. He actually went behind the gentleman's car and tried to stop him, thinking that if he stood there, he would not back out. But
Okay.
no, the gentleman put it in reverse and then proceeded to back up quickly. So
Okay,
then he had to jump out of the way.
okay. He being your
My
husband.
husband, yes.
Okay, then what happened?
Then the gentleman in the car that almost ran my husband over decided, I said, honey, you gotta move out of the way. He decided to drive and swerve, almost hit my husband.
Now, you said your husband was behind the car
Yes.
and had to back out of the way when the man backed up.
So now we're on the left side of his car,
Okay,
right? So he backs up and then he decides to intentionally making it look like. he's
Objection as to intentional.
I'll sustain the objection, but you can tell us what you saw.
and what did you see? Bill, what did you see?
Then my husband had to swerve out of the way and kind of bumped him on his hip.
When the man backed out and began to go forward again, how would you describe the movement of the car? Okay. Okay.
He sped out of the parking lot.
Okay. Now, have you yourself ever seen a video of that incident during the police investigation? Okay, I wonder if I could show you. This, I need a few moments to set up, Your Honor. People's proposed exhibit number one.
All right.
My tech is way low.
Okay, that's fine.
So we're going to use this computer. Yes. we'll use this computer.
Should have a HDMI cord, you know what that is, that's underneath, that you plug.
Barely, yeah.
Computer. Let us know when you're ready and then we can switch it over so it'll be on the screen.
Let me help you.
Oh, there you are. Thank you. To the rescue.
Now, it's okay, like, there's like 30 people in here. She's the only one kind enough to come up and help. There are 30 people that know. You want me to point at them?
Miss Weidling, could I have,
I did warn your staff that I am going to be slow at this
Miss
point.
Weidling, can I have a copy of this record where the court called me kind, please? Thank you so much.
Motion to strike granted.
Be later.
Okay.
Pay attention here. Introductions matter. Lawyers always make sure the judge knows exactly who they are. It sets the stage.
So Ms. Lynn, in a few moments, I'm gonna have you look at a video. Will probably be on the screen.
Okay.
And then when the video is done, I'm gonna ask you if that video depicts the incident you just described accurately, okay? And that'll be my last question.
Okay.
Okay, for the record now, we have the video, People's Proposed Exhibit number 1 on the screen. So you had a chance to look at the video so far? And did you look at the far left of the video?
Yes.
Did you see a car?
Yes.
Did you recognize that car?
Yes.
What did you recognize it as?
That's the car that went right behind me.
Okay, that's the car we're talking about that you claim was involved with your husband.
Yes.
It was on the left of the video as we're looking at the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we're playing the tape again. Is that him? So did you see a person running across the screen?
You said a yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And do you know who that was?
Yes, it was John. I think that tried to.
So that was the gentleman you think was involved with
Yeah.
interacting with you and your husband. Okay. Let's go again. It just falls back. Yeah, excellent. And did you see a few minutes ago the gentleman running back again? Was that the same gentleman?
Yes.
Okay.
Fast forward a little bit.
No. So,
Like up here?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me see.
Now we see a white car with the taillights on. Is that the car that we're talking about? Okay. Did you?
He's in the store, so I'll have to walk back.
He's not in the store.
He is in the store.
Oh, I think so. Simpson. Okay.
No. He was in the store for a couple minutes.
Okay. We're fast forwarding a little bit. And him again?
No. Okay. No. There. Back to the car. You see him?
Translation, the prosecution wasn't ready. In legal speak, that's a game changer. Case dismissed without prejudice, meaning they can refile. Did you expect that twist so soon?
I didn't see it. Didn't see it. Did you see it? Did you see your husband get hit?
Yeah.
Right on the right.
Back that up just one moment. See that again.
The incident?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I just sent it
Maybe
back.
just did because the white truck pulled in. I see.
So that's the her husband that was just behind the pillar.
Can you get a closer?
I
Let's try to see if we can. Is that your husband's voice?
Yes.
Okay. Is it,
I don't know.
is that enough, Your Honor?
Yes.
What happened after that? I guess I have a lot more questions. What happened after that? After your husband went, what happened after that?
Well, because he's trying to get out of the way of a car that's trying to run him over.
Objection,
So he,
call,
Sustained.
What happened
Part of her.
between the two of you then after the car?
he got up, I helped him up. And then we waited for the police to come. And another gentleman came who happened to be a witness.
Okay, okay. Now, he was in the store for a couple of minutes, was he not? So what were you and your husband doing during that time?
He was talking to the police.
Okay, on the phone or in
Yes.
person? Okay. And did he give the police the license plate from the car?
I believe, yes, I believe he took a picture. I'm
Oh,
not sure.
that what he did with his camera, took a picture of the license
Yes.
plate? Okay. Did he get medical attention after that? Where was he hurt?
Well, he just fell, right? So just very light.
Bruises? you
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. He didn't stay overnight at the hospital?
No,
Okay. Now, did there come a time after this incident happened that the police called you down to the police station to see if you could help identify who the young man was? And what did they do when you went down to the police station? What happened there?
set us separately in different offices and gave us a series of pictures.
Separately, you and your husband were,
Yes.
you're separated?
Yes.
And you were told to look at some pictures?
Yes,
Okay. Did you identify any of the pictures?
one.
Did you know whose picture that was?
At that time, I thought it was the person.
Okay. At the time you asked how certain you were, didn't you?
Yeah,
How certain did you say you were at the time?
70%.
About 70% certain
Yeah,
of the picture that you identified as what? Identify this person as what?
as the person who tried to run my husband over.
Okay. Had you ever seen that person before that date?
No,
Okay. I have no further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
You want this up here?
Nah. Where were you and your husband coming from when you got to the Kroger?
Something that, Chinese restaurant across the street.
Across the street? Does that restaurant, do you frequent that restaurant often? Do they sell alcohol?
Yes, I do.
Did you or your husband have any alcohol that night?
No.
You also testified about you hearing your husband say some things on the video. Is that correct?
On the video, which part?
Any part?
When I heard him scream. Yes.
That's not the only thing that you heard though on the video. Is that fair to say?
Maybe I heard someone talking. I don't know if it's my husband.
You heard the other guy that you described as your words trying to run your husband over, right?
Yeah.
And he was screaming, right?
In my car or in the video?
In the video. In the video that you saw. Well, let's back up. On the night in question, when you were there, you heard the person that you accused of doing all this stuff yelling, correct?
Changing words with my husband, yes.
Well, is it fair to say he was yelling?
I think I said if they were exchanging words. I don't know if they were yelling.
You couldn't hear what they were saying at all.
I was in the car.
So you said that you got out the car when you saw the initial confrontation with the guy and your husband, correct?
In the car, yes. The initial, yes.
And at some point you got back in the car?
No.
So you stayed outside the car from that point until the whole thing was over? And while you were outside the car, did you not hear the other person saying, "Get away from my car. Why'd you hit my car?" You didn't hear that?
No. I was busy trying to tell John that he was trying to.
You also said that your husband tried to stop the person from leaving, correct?
Yes.
How so?
Just by telling him.
He didn't physically try to stop the person from moving the car at all? Are you sure?
You're talking about when he backed up?
At any point?
The only time was when he backed up, was trying to leave the scene.
So the other person comes back to the car, correct? They get in the car. You and your husband are standing right next to the car.
Yes.
Your husband,
He's calling the police. He's on the phone, please, right now. Don't go anywhere.
so he's telling this person not to leave. And while he's doing that, he's reaching for his door handle, right? He didn't try to touch a car at all that you saw? Well, I'm asking about what you saw.
I didn't see him.
You didn't see him do that, or you didn't see him at all?
I did not see him do that. I was there the whole time.
At this point, when the person is getting back in the car, tell me specifically where you all are standing.
Next to his car on the driver's side.
Both you and your husband are on the same side. So your husband gets behind the car. Did the person driving the car just hit the gas and run your husband over?
He was backing the car up as if there was nobody behind him.
As in quickly?
Yes.
So did your husband have to like jump out the way to move?
Yes, I told him to get out of the way.
As the car was backing up?
Yes.
Are you sure about that?
I said, honey, you have to get out of the way.
What I'm asking about, are you sure about, is your husband having to jump out the way while the car was backing up?
No, he had to jump out of the way when the car tried to run him over.
So when he's in the back of when the car trying to back up, your husband is blocking him from leaving, correct?
Yeah.
So you convince your husband to move, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, after he moves out of the way, where does he go in relation to the car that's backed up?
The car is backed up. We are standing on the left front side of
The left,
in the parking space.
the left front side of his car. Are you talking about the person who you?
Passenger side.
So you're not directly in front of the car, but you're on the front passenger side in the front of the car. And that's because your husband is still trying to get him not to leave, correct?
Because he's still on the place at the time, yeah.
So after the car backs up, does the car back up and then straighten at all, or just backs out of the parking spot?
The car is parked like this. He backs up with a little bit more room. We're standing right here. And then when he hits the gas, then he can swerve to hit us.
So he didn't drive forward and then have to turn left to go out of the parking lot. You're saying that the car specifically swerved to the right.
Yes.
Judge, the video you've seen, I can replay that, but it's just zoomed in, so I think you can get a better view if you think you need it.
I don't need it. I mean, I can see that. I will tell you if you think you need to play it for me, but what's clear to me is that there is a pole that is obstructing one of the poles from Kroger. But I can see the left side and also what appeared to be part of the area behind, which would seem to me whatever the vehicle, whoever was in the vehicle had more room to pull back and straighten themselves out. I can also see that the vehicle does head. To the extent there is a swerve, I don't know that I see a swerve. What I do see, however, is I do see an individual heading down the right side of that lane where there appears to be plenty of room to the left. That is what I see, but if you want me to see something different, then play your video.
Nope, I think that's good enough, Judge. You also say your husband wasn't injured at all, correct?
Besides spit all over his face and falling to the ground, no.
You also said something to the effect of, at the time, I thought it was the person. Do you remember saying that? When we were talking about the identification, when you went to the precinct and identified the person who you thought did this to you and your husband, or at least to your husband, do you recall saying, I thought at the time it was the person? And so you were wrong at that time, correct? So you picked somebody out of the lineup, right? And the police didn't tell you anything else, you just picked a person?
I haven't spoken to anybody until yesterday.
Okay.
Classic courtroom shuffle. Attorneys playing hide and seek. Ever notice how much waiting happens in real trials? Hollywood leaves that part out.
Nothing further, Judge.
Any redirect?
Just one or two questions. I forgot to ask you the question I said I was going to ask you. So did the video that we watched accurately depict what happened in the parking lot? And second question is, and it's your memory though, that the car swerved slightly to the right to strike your husband. That's all.
No, thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
Ross, the Kroger lady?
May call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, waiting, it's my understanding, talking to the defense counsel, he would stipulate to the admission of People's Exhibit Number 1 as accurate video for the purpose of the examination.
That's correct, Judge.
All right, Exhibit 1 is admitted. Come forward to be sworn.
Thank
Wait, take a seat, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? See? State the last name for the record.
My name is Rachel Roberts, first name Rachel, last name Roberts, Roerts.
You may inquire.
Now, Ms. Roberts, can you tell us how you were employed back in October of 2024?
I was an asset protection specialist for Kroger.
Okay, which Kroger?
All of them, actually. I worked in the whole division.
And is one of those that you worked for the one on Plymouth Road in
Yes.
Ann Arbor, Washita County?
Yes.
Now, at some point in time, did the police come to you and ask you to give them something about what happened on October 28th of 2024?
Yes, I was requested a full video.
Okay, and where were you when you asked that? At that store or some central
I was
location?
in the store.
At that store? Do you remember who asked you to do that?
It was Detective Ross.
Okay. And how did you pull the video of whatever he wanted?
It was using our Orchid Fusion camera system. It's for inside the store, and then I had to pull video off Bosch to try to see if I can get the parking
Okay, and what happened when that happened, when you tried to do that?
So I was able to pull inside the store, but the camera for outside the door wasn't working at the time.
Okay, so you were able to pull a video from inside the store?
Yes.
And did you give that video to Detective Ross? Okay, that's all.
All right. A couple follow-ups.
Yes.
You said that the camera system on the outside of the Kroger wasn't working at the time.
Yeah, the camera was under repair with technology. We had to put a service ticket in for it.
When you say under repair with technology, is technology a company or
Yes, it's within like the division's little group.
technology is that owned by Kroger?
Yes.
How long had that camera been down?
It was down for about 3 weeks because they did a full reset within the vestibule. So a lot of the cameras got knocked out.
What does that mean? I don't.
Basically, they moved everything around. So like the shelving, that's when you walk into the main entrance, there's like a big shelving display. And then they had to move a bunch of tiles on the floors. So they had to use ladders to get to the ceilings as well to mess with the lights, and they knocked out some cameras.
Okay. Were there any cameras outside or in the parking lot?
Yes, there was a camera straight to the parking lot in the middle. There was a camera to the right, and then the camera that I needed was actually right outside the entry door. That's where the incident was.
Well, I'm a little confused. So, and it may just because I didn't understand your testimony, the cameras that got damaged while the things in the vestibule were being moved around.
Yeah, it was the first camera right when you walk in. It was right to the ceiling. So like, let's say I'm walking into that door, you look up, it was that camera that faced out. That one was damaged.
And that is the camera that would have captured the
Yes.
incident.
Yeah.
So there aren't any cameras like on the pole outside in the parking lot.
No.
I'm all set, Judge.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready to go home then.
All right, you're all set. Thank you. You may shut down. Next witness.
Thank you. Jonathan Kroger?
Yes. Come forward and be sworn.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to affirm the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. State your first and last name, record, please.
Detective Michael Ross, MICHAEL ROSS.
All right, you may inquire.
And how were you employed, sir?
I'm a detective with the Ann Arbor Police Department.
How long have you been a Ann Arbor detective?
6 years.
And at some point in time, were you, pardon me?
Detective for
2 years. At some time, were you asked to be in charge of the investigation of the incident that happened at the Kroger parking lot on Plymouth Road in Ann Arbor on October 28th of 2024?
Yes.
When did you get involved in that investigation?
I was assigned that case to investigate.
Was it that night, the next morning?
I believe it was the next day.
Okay, and you remained the officer in charge.
Correct.
Now, the video we were watching, you were in court while the video was played, were you not?
Yes.
Okay, where did you obtain that video?
Yes.
Where did you obtain that video from?
I obtained that video from Orange Theory Fitness, which was a fitness studio that pointed right for that.
Okay, is that in the same shopping area as the Kroger?
It,
Is it, how close is it to the Kroger?
I believe it's maybe one or two businesses to the essentially to the east of the front doors of Kroger.
But that's where you got that video.
Correct.
Okay. Now, as officer in charge, did you ask the complainant and his wife to come down to help identify who the suspect might be?
Yes.
Could you know when that happened how long after the incident?
I don't recall specifically, but I believe it was within a week.
Okay. And what was done as far as having them help identify the possible perpetrator?
I compiled a photo lineup. I had another detective administer the photo lineup to them as I sat in. Sure.
Okay. You had a suspect that was in the lineup?
Yes.
Is that why you did not conduct it yourself?
Correct.
Okay. But you observed the lineup.
I did.
And did you observe Miss Yuling Lin observe the photo display?
Yes.
I hand you a smart as People's Post Exhibit number 2. And ask if you could tell me if this piece of paper is.
This is the photo lineup that I put together.
Okay. And is the defendant in that lineup?
Yes.
Are the defendant?
That objection record shall so reflect.
Thank you, Your Honor. And what happened then when
Here's the kicker. Without the main witness, the prosecution's case takes a hit. Would you feel confident convicting someone if the star witness didn't even show up?
I think it's straight here, sir.
excited utterance, Your Honor?
Well, he needs to lay a foundation for that, then. You just can't assume a 911 call foundationally constitutes an excited utterance.
I think Ms. Lynn did do that. Husband was almost run over. She claimed that was just before the backing up incident. Was excited, was calling, got spit in the face and was calling the 911.
Well, herein lies the problem of why we don't have the actual complainant witness. I don't recall the complainant specifically saying that her husband made some excited utterances or laying that foundation. I know that what she described and said that her husband said, but she didn't explain how he said that and laid the proper foundation to get the.
Why is the license plate hearsay at this juncture, counsel?
For this witness, because he's watched the video, or I'm sorry, he listened to a call and he's relaying what was stated in that call.
But was it really for the truth of the matter asserted or for what was said and what they then did?
Well,
Going to his state of mind as opposed to for the truth of the matter.
Well, I would argue that it's for the truth of the matter asserted because brother counsel wants us to believe or wants you to know that what the license plate was and actually if it was given. And also the best evidence of that would be the 911 call itself.
Maybe. Well, what I'm not necessarily I don't know what I'd be accepting for the truth of the matter of what, if you're saying it's hearsay.
That the complainant gave the license plate and what that license plate is. I'm assuming that's what Brother Counsel is going with the question.
For the truth of the matter of what the license plate is. In your response to that, to the extent that it is hearsay.
But there was an excited utterance was given to 911 after a near death experience, after an almost accident and being spit in the face and confronting an individual.
Since I don't know the next questions, I will just indicate that I'm going to the extent that it is hearsay, that it's being offered for the truth of the matter that's asserted, which is what the number is, I guess, then I would consider that, at least based upon the testimony that I have at the time that the call was made, that it's a cited utterance. The individual is observing something as they're reporting it, which was the testimony of the first witness. However, I'm not sure that it is hearsay, so I'm also giving a provisional ruling that this evidence may be admitted for the purposes to show state of mind as to what the officers then did next. So.
You indicated that you did hear a license plate over the 911 call.
I believe so.
What did you do with the information about the proposed license plate number you heard?
At that time, nothing, because the vehicle had already been identified, in the report. So the 911 call came after that.
Okay, did you ever learn what vehicle matched the license plate number that came over the 911 call? Whose license plate that was?
Yes.
Objection. That's now, I don't know to what extent he has done this investigation to find out what license and the car, the driver or the registered driver is associated with. I don't know where that information is coming from. I don't know if a partner told him that. I don't know what steps he took to find that information personally. It lacks foundation, and it sounds like hearsay.
Response.
If the information as to the license number is allowed in, then I think he's allowed to say what the investigation of that license number led to.
Well, just because you frame something as a part of an investigation doesn't make it per se admissible. And we're not talking about information he got from the 911 call. We're talking about information that he obtained some other way that hasn't been explained or made a foundation.
You get, sir, so I'm to understand just you get a license plate number, and then through use some tool, I'll put it that way, available to you to identify that license plate number and what it's attached to, or the vehicle that it's attached to. Would that be correct in summary?
Yes.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, in a matter of minutes, I can get a certified record if I know the number, and we can be done with this whole argument, because it seems rather silly to be arguing at this point in time. I'm going to overrule the objection. I'm going to allow him to testify as to what he did and what he discovered.
So what did you discover as to what car that license plate belonged to?
It belonged to Cynthia Harrison.
Harrison?
I'm sorry. Yes, I think it is Harrison.
Do you know her relationship to the defendant?
I believe it's her mother. It's his mother.
Okay. Now, at some time, did you go to Kroger to try to get a tape from Kroger?
I did.
Do you know how long after the incident that occurred?
I believe that was also the next day.
Next day. And you heard Ms. Roberts testify she gave you a tape.
Right.
Do you have a copy of that here?
Yes, it is on the flash drive.
It's plugged in already? I wonder if we might. I want you to come down.
Yeah. Go ahead. Oh, hang on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You know which one it is?
Oh, okay,
You can hit play.
play.
Just click right there.
Like, okay. And did you have a chance to review the videotape that you were given?
Yes.
What did you see on the videotape?
I saw the suspect enter the store, which you could see his face a little bit better on the store video. Compare that to his SOS photo and determined that it was the same person.
So I wonder if you, I'll hit play and tell me if you can tell us if that shows what you said it shows. And if we need to fast forward, you'll have to come down and do it.
The judge is basically saying, enough talk, let's roll. Judges hate wasted time, and patience is currency in court.
Right there. That was it. Back to that. Okay. Okay, now we stopped the video. This is video which is marked as People's Proposed Exhibit number 3. And what do you see on the video now?
The suspect involved.
Now, how do you relate the person coming through the door, as we see here on People's Proposed Exhibit number 3, with the incident?
Based on the other video.
What do you mean based on the other video?
So the Orange Theory video, where you can see the description of the individual that was involved in that video, off the story in Kroger.
And how about time? Is there a time coordination between the first video and this proposed exhibit number 3? I mean, was that done at all, or is it just a closed description?
Yeah, it was a closed description, and I think the time, I don't think the time on the Kroger video was the accurate time of day. I don't recall, but the videos that lined up.
Okay, I want to hand you what's been marked as by me as proposed exhibit number 4.
Can I take a gander?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
This is the photo, right? On the photo.
I have shown it to the defense counsel. Now, this is a paper, smart people's proposed exhibit number 4. How much that proposed exhibit is?
It's a side-by-side of the Kroger video and the suspect's SOS photo.
By the Kroger video, I mean, the person, is that photo taken right off of the video?
It was a screenshot.
Okay, I move for the admission of both exhibits 2 and 4, Your Honor, and 3.
Any objection or what here to any of these?
One question. The photo, there's 2 photos on the exhibit that you have, correct?
Yes.
the one photo that is a portrait, is that the same portrait that was used in the photo array?
The one on the left, yes.
Okay. Then I have no objection.
Exhibits 2, 3, and 4 are admitted.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
One second, Judge.
Yes.
I don't have any questions for this witness, sir.
All right, very good. You may step down. Thank you, sir.
I have no other witnesses, Your Honor. I move to bind over on the charge of great bodily harm and felonious assault.
Response.
So part of the reason why I asked, Your Honor, if you needed, or if it would be helpful to view a more zoomed in picture of this event was because I don't know to what extent a person can illegally try to hold a person in a spot, because what the proofs were did not rise to the level of a felony. And as Your Honor knows, the only way that a citizen can make a citizen's arrest or keep somebody in a place they don't want to be is if they've committed a felony in their presence. There was no felony committed, at least before the purported use of the car or the misuse of the car. So you have a situation where even in the video, you can hear, for purposes of the exam, I'll say my client is yelling about, get away from my car. Why are you at my car? He is observed trying to leave. The complainant, and I don't think his wife, I think it was just the complainant, physically stops him from trying to leave a couple different times. And then that's when you see my client drive away. Now, if you zoom in closer, I don't think that this swerve that the first witness testified to is that purposeful. What you see is the car back straight out and then drive forward and straighten out as they're going toward the main road. There's no reason, if my client was trying to actually run this guy over, as it was characterized as, that he couldn't have just done it. If he was trying to turn the wheel, he just turned the wheel and he would have ran him over. Also, the lack of injury, as you know, for GBH cases, an injury is not required, but an injury can be used to show the defendant's intent to do the specific type of harm, specifically the great bodily portion. But on the flip side of that, if there's no injury and the witnesses testified that my client backed out and the complainant is right behind him, which of course he could have just injured him then, there's no injury. And then there's no injury even after the fact with the driving forward, I would submit to the court that that's proof of a lack of intent to do great bodily. And the last thing I want to say is I've been analogizing this situation to a woman leaves the gym and a person or man wants to get this woman's phone number, and the woman shows that she's not interested. And she's walking to her car, the gentleman follows her to her car, and then attempts to not let her leave, standing in front of her, behind the car, standing in front of the car. I don't know to what extent the woman has to stay there, or if she decides to floor it, if the gentleman who's trying to keep her in one spot is in front of the car and she tries to floor it and he has to jump out the way. I don't think that constitutes a crime. And I think from the video, from the complaining witnesses, or the witnesses' testimony, I think that's pretty much what we have here. Insofar as somebody trying to hold somebody at a place they don't want to be without any type of legal basis to do that. And you see that person repeatedly yell about trying to leave, yell about being stopped, and then you see them try to get away. So I don't think that rises to the level of a GBH. I think this could have been charged differently, but I think that a GBH is a stretch for these specific facts and circumstances, Judge.
Response.
So the video may have been somewhat ambiguous because it is pretty far away, but the testimony of the witness said that the car swerved to the right where we were not in the parking area, but in the parking space yet, to have to go into the parking space, and actually struck the man and knocked him down. He got hit by a car aimed at him. I think if you hit someone intentionally, at least we have GBH. And then FA is, of course, a lesser offense, not included, but just using the car. We just have a road rage type of activity here that began before we had spitting in the face, being upset because the police were being called over that incident, and then quickly driving away. People think that makes the element in the video and for the testimony of great bodily harm. And then identifying the defendant, I think we have enough for probable cause to believe he's the one who did this. So I would move to bind over as I've asked. Thank you, Your Honor.
Court, having heard the testimony in this case, what is clear so we can clarify the court's view of the video. While the video, there is a block to it, I think the critical part, coupled with Ms. Youngling's testimony, is that it may be indeed a question of fact as to the swerve. Irrespective of that, what is clear is that that vehicle is clearly on the right side of that lane, to the extent that then the individual, Mr. West, is identified by his wife, had to leap out of the way, and you hear his exclamation. So while it might be true that frankly, I don't buy defense their picture of what happened when the vehicle backed up. What happened when the vehicle backed up, had it wanted to straight and avoid the individuals that were in that lane, including Mr. West, it could have backed up further, headed on a different angle, and gotten itself out going down that left side. And that's the part that the court is really focused on. That vehicle stays to the right side of that lane where Mr. West is. And then you see Mr. West, as you see in the poll, you see him kind of go back toward the car. And that video from this court standpoint carries great weight as to what that vehicle was doing, what the defendant is identified as the person at the scene. And there is at least enough evidence for the court to believe that the defendant was indeed the one that was driving that vehicle. It's clear to the court that the people have sustained their burden in this case of the necessary elements as to both offenses in this case, both the assault with intent to create great bodily harm less than murder, as well as the other offense of felonious assault. It is I will address it, but I don't think that it's absolutely necessary in this court's part. I don't think an individual where there is some type of altercation, remembering that the spitting in his face and what's occurring between these individuals has occurred prior to the point in time that he is now calling the police, asking for basically asking for some type of police assistance, but then also requesting and standing where he's standing to have this individual wait. I don't think that was any type of false imprisonment. I don't think it was anything other than Mr. West attempting to try to get this individual to stay there until the police left. And really has no bearing on or any effect on the rights of the defendant in this case, because he actually did leave. He was free to leave. He did leave in the case. And again, I don't think it has any bearing on that. I would also note that I do find the testimony of Miss Yulin very credible in terms of what she saw. I don't think she was attempting to try to exaggerate things, but also she was testifying in essence about two events that occurred that night that involved, well, really three, but two specifically would have involved her husband being hurt. So certainly, and I don't say this with any disrespect, that there.
Ah, the setting. Forget high-speed chases. This showdown takes place in the most American of battlegrounds, the grocery store parking lot.
Spitting on his face as she's observing it. She's testifying about that. So the court would find, based upon all of that, taking all of the evidence into consideration, that the people have indeed sustained their burden and would bind the defendant over to stand trial on the account of assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder, as well as assault with intent or assault with a dangerous weapon, the felonious assault. I just want to be clear, while they're not the same, the felonious assault and the assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder, Mr. Prosecutor, are those all the events that occur in the parking lot itself?
Yes, Your Honor, that's the alternate, depending on what the fact finder decides, alternate results that it's available. FA is not a necessarily lesser included, so.
Exactly. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it didn't include a separate event that was testified to regarding the vehicle coming at Mr. West at another location during that night.
No, Your Honor, it is the same.
That same incident.
Yes.
Okay, so I will bind the defendant over. The people have sustained their burden on that. I will also bind the defendant over on an additional charge of assault with a dangerous weapon. That being the event that occurs in front of the store that Ms. Yulin testified to, where the vehicle approached and that Mr. West had to extend his hand. So I will add that count 3 of that felony. I will also add a count 4 of assault and battery, the simple misdemeanor for the spitting in the face of Mr. West. So therefore, the defendant is bound over to stand trial on counts 1 and 2 as stated in the original complaint, as well as count 3, which the court is adding, of another felonious assault, specifically with reference to the initial event. And then also a misdemeanor charge of assault and battery for the spitting in the face of Mr. West. So defendant is bound over to stand trial on all those charges.
If we do the arraignment here, correct?
Yes, that is correct, counsel.
So we would waive formal reading to the extent Your Honor has not already read it formally in the statement.
All right. Defendant having waived formal reading, standing mute, the court will enter a not guilty plea as to all 4 counts. Pretrial in this matter will take place
October 9th at 1:30 with Judge Slay.
October 9th, 2025, 1:30 before Judge Slay.
Eyewitness memory test. Age, clothing, car color, these details often blur under stress. How reliable would your memory be in a parking lot confrontation?
Is there anything as to bond in this?
Yes, Judge.
Go ahead.
So obviously my client is here and in custody. And the last time we were in front of you, he was not. And I think that Your Honor probably is aware of the factual allegation as it relates to why Your Honor wanted to address bond. A couple of things though. I was a little confused about the court's instructions, not because of anything your staff did, but I had never seen a person be expected to report to jail without a specific order. But regardless of what I saw, when I explained the situation to my client, and explained like, hey, you may want to report earlier than Tuesday. He was more than willing to do that. And I can't say that would have been the case in most clients I have, honestly. So I think that counts for something insofar as he's willing to come to court when Your Honor doesn't even explicitly say it, but it's expected for him to come to court. So I think that goes in his favor. The other two more important things, though, about bond judge is that my client, I think Your Honor is familiar with him from past cases. He receives services through this county. One of those services is the use of a support dog. There is no one else to care for this dog while my client is in custody. My client is, of course, I have pictures. I can show the court. I think that you are willing to take my word for it. That his relationship with his dog is probably one of the most important relationships that he has with any being on this planet. The second thing that is also important and relevant to bond judge is that he also receives a housing voucher, and he will be disqualified from receiving that voucher if he is in custody for more than 30 days. So with those three things, but primarily two things being in mind, I would ask that Your Honor not necessarily revoke his bond outright, but consider a progressive sanction, and that being tether with house arrest or some type of restricted hours, so that he can still take care of responsibilities, but may not necessarily be allowed to go and come and go freely as he has been allowed to previously. I have not spoken to the complainants or anybody involving the new allegations. But what I've been told is that regardless of what the police agency investigating that does in terms of submitting a warrant request, I've been told that there's not going to be any follow-up with the complainants and that this was actually a misunderstanding. They know my client, and he frequents there often, and he hasn't even been trespassed there, as far as I know. So I would just ask Your Honor to consider those things in relation to bond and not necessarily just revoking it and put him in remand status until his trial.
I don't need a response. As to the first issue regarding the defendant turning himself in or not, the court had received a bond violation report from the Ann Arbor Police Department. The court reviewed it. The court, based upon that report and based upon the bond conditions that the defendant was under in this particular case, decided to issue a warrant, no bond. There doesn't need to be another order because he was going to be taken into custody one of two ways. I think it was your office and maybe you that called my office to determine what he should do. I don't think any specific direction was given whether or not he should turn himself in. However, there was a valid warrant out for his arrest. Quite frankly, from my position, whether your client had turned himself in or not, or whether he just walked in today, I was going to take care of it. So it really is, from my perspective, 6 of one, half dozen of another as to what he did. Maybe he spent a little bit additional time while in jail. But that's it. But what is clear to me is that the incidents that occur that are at least alleged in the Ann Arbor police report there, that case number being 2540579, which led to the issuance of the warrant that this court issued, show an individual that, frankly, from the court standpoint, can't follow the court's orders, and also would, in this court's mind, be someone who is dangerous to this community. There's not an adequate way in which to control it. While certainly a home confinement tether might be something that the court would consider, I'm not sure that that tether would keep him in. And then once he's out, what it seems to me in looking at these and other, but these particular cases, is that he has some tendency to then engage with people and does engage in behavior where he is attempting to injure
to threaten and or injure people. So I certainly take all of that into consideration in this case. And given all of that in this case, in the court finding that the defendant has, or at least it appearing that the defendant has indeed violated his bond conditions of this case in an assaultive fashion on an assaultive case, the defendant's bond is hereby ordered revoked at this juncture. So,
Thank you for your consideration, Judge.
thank you, folks.
Appreciate the court's forbearance as I stumbled my way through the.
Pardon?
I appreciate the court's forbearance as I struggled my way through the technology. I just.
No, you did a great job. You did a great job, better than most I see.
Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. What are they doing? Short man. Second. The court does call the case of the people versus Don Bedoin.